Sorry. For this faculty development program, on behalf of SPA Vijayawada welcomes you all. Under the aegis of Council of Architecture Training Research Center, COA-TRC Bhopal and School of Planning and Architecture Vijayawada is organizing an online national level faculty development program on the topic barrier-free design, universal design principles in architecture and planning, which is going to start from today and conclude on 18th of November 2022. I would also like to highlight the intent of this FDP. Barrier-free features and universal design principles are now becoming fundamental to all design concepts. The awareness level about the necessity of barrier-free access and universal design approach needs to be raised. The inculcation of these concepts in architecture and planning brings massive effect. Hence, this proposed faculty development program intends to investigate all the prospects of barrier-free design and universal design principles in the architecture and planning domain. Already all the instructions have been given to all the participants through the mail. So kindly request to follow all the necessary instruction. Still then I am reading the instructions for you to follow. Each day session shall be carried out on a different Zoom link. So we will share the individual links to you. You are requested to log in and join the meeting with the name which you have registered. And you are also requested to log in for the session 15 minutes prior to the session to ensure, and you have to get online by 12:45 p.m. sharp on the Zoom link each day. Kindly keep your microphone on mute and video camera off while the expert sessions ask them in the question. Expert sessions are happening, and you can ask the question and answers during the end of the session, not in between. An expert speaker's session is divided into two modules. One is 60 minutes presentation and 20 minutes question and answers. And e-certificates will be provided to those participants of the program only who is having more than 60% of the attendance and who have the attendance and 100% attendance, and then 60% on the MCQ test, which is scheduled on the 18 November 2022 at 4 p.m. So please contact us in case of any issues, because already we have made a WhatsApp group also for the smooth conduction of this thing. With this, I request our director, Honorable Director Professor Ramesh Srikonda sir, to grace this occasion with his welcome address.
There is some technical glitch. He's trying to join.
So shall I request Director?
Yeah, please do.
So namaskar. Thank you Prashanti ma'am. Namaskar.
Namaste sir.
On behalf of the COA-TRC Bhopal and the School of Planning and Architecture Vijayawada, I, Dr. Navneet Munot, Honorary Director TRC Bhopal, welcome all the participants, experts, and the dignitaries for this National Online Faculty Development Program on Barrier-Free Design and Universal Design Principle in Architecture and Planning. And the aim of this Faculty Development Program is to develop theory, principle, and solutions to enable everybody to use the physical environment to the greatest extent possible, whether it be building, outdoor areas, means of communications, or household goods. Universal design opposes ideological and politically all necessary and defaming specialized solution. Barrier-free features and universal design principles are now becoming fundamental to all design concepts. And the awareness level about the necessity of barrier-free access needs to be raised. This is the main reason. That's why we are conducting this FDP on such a theme. And I hope this FDP would immensely benefit to all the research scholars, faculty members, and practicing architects to think in a different direction for these differently abled persons. And I'm happy to share with you that from January 2021 to till today, the TRC Bhopal has conducted more than 45 faculty development programs, short-term training program, teacher training program, and workshops on different themes. Also, during the 3 years of its establishment since December 2019, the TRC Bhopal has successfully organized more than 75 events in which more than 10,000 students, academicians, and practicing architects have got benefited. I would like to convey that the TRC Bhopal is committed to provide and ensure the delivery of quality online faculty development program, short-term training program, teacher training program, workshop, conferences, which is why its criteria for the selection of domain experts are very tough. For example, in each event, 10 experts are selected from 10 different states of our country. Among these 10 experts, the inclusion of 4 to 5 female experts are compulsory, so that participants can be benefited from diverse as well as contextual experience, knowledge, and wisdom based on the profile of the experts which are instructing them. The TRC Bhopal also strive to take care of our budding academicians, researchers, and professionals, so that all the participants can gain as much as enriching knowledge and skill sets as possible from these events and programs for extending the horizon of their personal and professional growth. The TRC Bhopal strongly believes that if and only if the academician professional possesses quality education, intellectual, or wisdom, then only they can serve the society in a better way, which ultimately benefit the entire architecture fraternity. We all are aware that during and after the COVID-19 pandemic, the online platform have become the first choice of participants as well as experts. However, the TRC Bhopal always keep limited seats in the program offered by it, because the COA New Delhi is not a profit-making institute, and through the TRC, it's maintaining and ensuring only top quality education as well as facilitation of meaningful interaction with experts and participants. Thus, the TRC Bhopal is just following the student-teacher ratio in every event of the program offered by it. In the same regard, it is my humble request to all the participants that please interact with experts and ask your doubts, queries as much as possible, so that you can increase your intellectual capabilities through curiosity and keenness. This is extremely important, because then only you can deliver what is truly expected out of you. And by looking at your example, your student will also surely implement what you have taught into them in their studies. Here, I again request all the participants not to register in any program just for getting a certificate alone, but for really learning and developing yours personally and professionally. On this occasion, I would also like to invite all the COA registered architecture institute to collaborate with the TRC Bhopal for organizing similar short-term training program, teacher training program, faculty development program, workshop, conferences, etc. on a national level, covering various contemporary topics which are the need of the hour today. Such initiatives will further allow the exchange of intellect among the members of the fraternity, as well as provide a platform of interaction with each other. Once again, I welcome all the participants and experts who will be the part of this faculty development program. My best wishes to the organizing team for the success of this 5-day event. Thank you. Namaskar.
Thank you, Navneet sir.
Thank you.
Our director is also joined. So with this, I request our Honorable Director, Professor Ramesh Srikonda sir, to grace this occasion with his welcome address.
Sir, you are on mute. Srikonda sir, you are on mute.
Sir, you are muted, sir.
Am I audible now?
Yes, now
Yes,
you are
sir.
audible. Hello, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Prashanti. Good afternoon and warm welcome to all. Honorable Director of COA-TRC, Dr. Navneet Mohit,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Coordinator Dr. Nagaraju, Dr. Prashanti, and all participants of the Faculty Development Program. Greetings to all. I'm very happy to deliver this welcome address on this occasion of FDP organized jointly by SPA Vijayawada and COA-TRC Bhopal. SPA Vijayawada, just I want to give some introduction about SPA Vijayawada. That is one of the 3 institutes of the national importance under Ministry of Education, Government of India. The school is offering undergraduate and postgraduate and doctoral programs in the field of architecture and planning. SPI is ranked one of the best technical institute in the country by National Survey and Ranking India Today Group, and also as well as holds the 8th position in NIRF ranking nationwide for architecture. SPA campus is green rated, and we also did a lot of things related to the barrier-free and disable-friendly environment also we have created here. When it comes to the FDP specifically, more than billion people are suffering from disables worldwide, and these people specifically get isolated as they cannot participate in actively and fully as generally whatever we normally do it. The average mortality, even if you look at it for this population, is higher due to lack of access to basic resources like education, employment, healthcare, etc. With the barrier-free design, people with disabilities can move freely without any fear and can utilize all the amenities in the built environment, specifically roads, parks, and gardens, whatever the specific space. Generally, others are accessible. We have to make it fully accessible to everyone. That's what specifically it mentioned about, specifically everyone has to enjoy the kind of a benefits and the kind of an environment what we are giving it. That's how we call like universal design approach is that always it is required. Designing for barrier-free environment supports individual ability to function specifically and individually, and also actively can take part without any assistance. That's what our main aim is. Understanding about the kind of a conditions and in what way we are going to look at it and design it. The term barrier-free covers wide range of issues from the door-to-door handle, passage width to surface of the floors, and counter heights to railings, and signages to audible signs and everything. Accessibility should be ensured through barrier-free design so that small child, even elderly person, and a pregnant woman, and even a temporary disabled person, all are not susceptible to barriers. Department of Empowerment and Pension and Disabilities, that is a DEPWD, launched the Accessible Indian campaign, a nationwide campaign for achieving universal accessibility for persons with disabilities on 3rd of December, I think, it is in 2015 itself. One of 3 important verticals for the built environment, generally, as you know it very well, as per the campaign, there are target sets to conducting accessibility audit at least 20 to 25 to 50, I think, the most important government buildings, and conducting them into fully accessible buildings in selected 50 cities by June of 2022. Covering 50% of the government buildings of the national capital and as well as all state capitals into fully accessible buildings by the June 2022. Conducting audit also 50% of the government buildings and covering them to fully accessible buildings in 10 most important cities and towns of the India. In this aspect, architectural design, there are other factors involved that they are related to geometry, building physics, space evaluation, anthropometrics, ergonomics, and aesthetics, among all others. Therefore, specifically, architectural design made up of many elements and processes and phases of the space design. The space designing comprises accessibility is one important thing, usability, workability, and comfort, feasibility to all groups. That's what which we wanted to make them to experience the spaces, whatever we are going to create. Creating and designing a barrier-free environmental for indoors and outdoors is essential and crucial. Hence, this faculty development program intended to look into all these prospects of barrier-free design in architecture and planning domain, which I think it will be very much helpful to all participants. I wish you all success and informative program for the next 5 days. I hope are all going to really refresh their thinking and the way really they are going to do it and integrate it, these barrier-free design concepts and transferring these concepts into the design details with a conscious direction and integrating in architectural design. I wish you all the best. Thank you one and all. Jai Hind.
Thanks, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, sir, for your valuable address. Now, I would like to request our co-coordinator, Dr. Nagaraju, sir, to introduce our first speaker.
Thank you, Dr. Prashanti. Director of School of Planning and Architecture. Am I audible, Dr. Prashanti?
Audible. Yes, you are audible, sir.
Yeah. So, Director of SPAV and the speaker for this session, Dr. Ramesh Srikonda, sir. Honorable Director of COA-TRC Bhopal, Dr. Navneet Munot, Dr. Prashanti Rao, my fellow coordinator, and all the participants attending this session today. Very warm welcome from SPA Vijayawada. Sabko Shubhodayam. First of all, I would like to congratulate all the participants registered for this effort FDP and with you all, and wish you a very informative and enriching week ahead. Today we have the speaker who is master in both academics and research, and besides, he is a master in his creative ideas with abundant knowledge and experience in dealing with projects while he was working in All India Radio as a chief architect in MCD Delhi and CPWD. I have a huge task now of introducing Dr. Ramesh Srikonda. Almost it is up to 20 pages of introduction, and I know him, such a wonderful person with such a wonderful experience and then knowledge and wisdom. Yes, sir. I will try to make it very short and with the due permission of Ramesh sir. Dr. Ramesh Srikonda, he was born in August 26, 1960 in Andhra Pradesh, India. He has acquired his bachelor's degree in architecture in 1982 in first class with distinction from Jawaharlal Nehru Technological University, Hyderabad, Andhra Pradesh. And then he has completed his master's in town and country planning from Anna University, Chennai in 1984. And also he holds a postgraduate diploma in ecology and environment from Institute of Ecology and Environment, New Delhi. He has conducted an extensive research on energy conservation studies in buildings through components, materials, and spatial conditions, space conditions options in IIT Delhi, which is an essential area of his research for saving energy, conserving fossil fuels with due regard to climate change, and acquired his doctorate degree from Indian Institute of Technology, New Delhi. He joined the central government service through UPSC, Central Architectural Services in 1985 in Central PWD, and also rendered his professional services in various capacities such as Deputy Architect, Architect, Regional Architect, Senior Architect, Chief Architect, and Director of Planning, additional charge as Director Slums at JJ to the Government of India. He joined as a professor in School of Planning and Architecture in Department of Architecture during 2010 and rendered his services in our institute as Head Department of Architecture, Head Department of Planning, Dean of Studies, Chief Warden, Vigilance Officer, and before being appointed as the Director of School of Planning and Architecture in 2022. He was instrumental in the conception of postgraduate program, MArch Sustainable Architecture, which is a unique program in the part of this country and which is a very having a lot of contemporary relevance in these times of climate change and energy crisis. He has published scores of technical papers in reputed international journals and presented technical papers at various national and international conferences. He is also credited with bringing as well as leading several research and consultancy projects to our institute from Government of Andhra Pradesh through institutional consultancy. He was awarded many honors and awards, and I'm not going to read everything, but probably I would very few I would like to tell. He won the competition and conceptual plan of a modern township at Jharia Coalfields promoted by Coal India Limited. It was adjudged as the most promising category by eminent jury members. He has won an ideas competition for proposed urban extension of Jaipur promoted by Jaipur Urban Development Authority. In 1989, he was the number one, stood first among everyone. And he was awarded World Habitat Award in 1992, promoted by Building and Social Housing Foundation, United Kingdom, initiated from 1985 as part of its contribution to the United Nations International Year of Shelter for Homeless in 1987. The World Habitat Awards aim to identify innovative and successful human settlement projects throughout the world which could be replicated elsewhere. Energy efficient housing India was adjudged by the international jury as one of the best finalists. An energy efficient strategy for technical buildings, which is a technical paper in AIR Technical Review 1995, adjudged as the second best technical paper for Akashvani Technical Excellence Awards. He is one among the 8 high power committee members for development of infrastructure for capital region of Andhra Pradesh constituted by government of Andhra Pradesh in 2010. He was a keynote speaker in many of the international and national level symposiums, conferences, and committees. And he's the chief guest for International Conference on Agriculture and Veterinary Life Sciences in 2014. And he was awarded as the IMRF's Excellence Award Architecture, presented in IMRF's International Conference in support of UNESCO's 70th Anniversary International Academic and Research Conference in India during 2015. And he was the best technical paper in many of the conferences and technical presentations, and he has conducted many workshops. One of them is a resource person, and he was a resource person conducted and attended as a chief guest. He was a plenary speaker, and also he was a Digital Award. He won it during 2022 for presenting technical paper on applied situational intelligence by dynamics in human context, a functional alternative for security and sustenance in autonomous facilities at crime prevention through environmental design, a conference 2022 promoted by SPA Delhi and ISAC. He was a juror, committee member, seminars, workshops, curriculums, and he has more than 60 international papers to his credit. With a small information and introduction, I would like to present Dr. S. Ramesh to the participants of today's FDP program. Welcome, sir.
Thank you very much. I would like to share the screen. Just 1 second. Thank you very much. Is it visible?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good afternoon to everyone. First, that faculty development program organized by COA and as well as SPA Vijayawada. My screen, can you go to see? The broad contents and introduction, generally I just wanted to tell you what exactly the architecture design, how the accessibility part is going to be get integrated and what is desirable, and this is how the entire thing has been today we are going to discuss about it. Then when you talk about the architectural design, as you all know very well, otherwise all participants must be architects. Design, that particular one, is a discipline that focuses on covering specifically and meeting the needs and demands of the user and creating functional living spaces and aiming to combine technological and aesthetical parameters. In the same way, it mixes as a creative process and architecture which is based on creation and presentation of solutions at a technical level. By mixing both disciplines of architectural design, seeks the value and formal qualities of the work through spatial experience. This aspect of architectural design, there are also another factors involved that are related to, just now I spoken about the geometry, building physics, space evolution, ergonomics, and also aesthetics, among so many other items generally to get integrated in the design part. Therefore, the design made up of many elements and process and phases. Specifically in the space designing, it has got so much of importance where we have to see these designing is comprising specific to accessibility and the use of the space, how the space is going to be workable, whether it has got the comfort to the person who is using it, in what way it is feasible enough in terms of the kind of specifications what we draw, and experiencing to all the users. It is essential to create a platform where one can be put to that particular use functionally, whatever the expected design is going to yield the facts to everyone, whoever may be the user of that one. The creating and designing a barrier-free environment, especially the indoors and outdoors, is crucial and it is a critical. What is accessibility in architectural design point of view? If you look at that, accessibility in architecture refers to designing and constructing spaces are to be inclusive and usable by all. It is one of the most important considerations in architecture, ensuring that built environment caters to the people of all abilities. However, popular conceptions such as disability, what disability and accessibility look like remain limited, and often it is comprising only physically disabled people such as wheelchair users. This is what generally we will be in a position to see. To keep in line with the Government of India guidelines and fulfilling its requirements, architects are incorporating features in their designs to help individuals with mental and physical disabilities access space without restrictions at all. So, what generally we look at the things like the guidelines and norms are not only meant for tackling the problems faced by the people in the field of disability, it also helps those unable pursuing education, attending their kind of a normal day-to-day work and employment, of course, recreational opportunities, because environmental boundaries that are being discriminated against to them. Then when it comes to, when we talk about the, what is disabled, it is a condition or a function generally judged significantly impaired relative to the usual standards of an individual or a group. The term, what specifically we wanted to look at is disability. That is the term of disability used to refer to individual functioning, including physical impairment and sensory impairment and cognitive impairment and intellectual impairment and mental illness generally we talk about, and various types of chronic diseases also. It really makes us a sense like where we can able to address that, conceptualizing the same thing as being multi-dimensional experience for the persons who involved in that. And there are many effects on the organs and the body part that there may be effect on the person's participation in the areas of life. Correspondingly, 3 dimensions of the disability are recognized: body structure and function, activities, and participation. The classification, I'm just introduction only, I'm there. Then I will go to the types of disabilities. Just, I think it is not moving, I feel.
Sir, it is not moving. Yeah.
Okay.
Now it is visible, sir. Yeah.
Yeah. I think types of disabilities, generally, whatever we talk, there are different types of disabilities depending upon type of limitations they employ. There's a, we call like, physical disability. And next one is a sensory disability. Physical disability is the one which there is a total or partial decrease in mobility. This results in difficulty and impediment when it comes to performing the activities. Then the sensory difficulty, like say, like what it means is ability, that's the ability, the sensory ability refers to the impairment of one or more senses. The main effect is a decrease in the ability to gather information from the environment. Maybe visual disability correspond. There are two different things, like one is visual and other one is the hearing. These are the two difficulties they will be having. It is through the sight of some percentage information only it can able to grab, but not fully. Sometimes, partial visibility and full visibility they may not be having. So that kind of a disability in terms of the visual generally will be having. Hearing also the same way. There may be partial and as well as a fullest extent they may not be in a position to hear. These are the two things comes under this one. Then where it really matters to us. This matters to us, the non-ambulatory. And if you look at it, consists those individuals on wheels and chairs. And then semi-ambulatory individuals using razors and clutches, and then cane users. All these are the semi-ambulatory. Sight point of view, if you see, the total blindness and partially they may not be in a position to see. Hearing also sometimes it is of the same level of deafness or hearing handicaps. That's what we can say. There are n number of ways, like why they have got is not the matter to us specifically. If you look at it, there are several ways we can say what exactly the matter and how they have got it is not the question here. There are people who are going to with us, and they are one among us. For such kind of a people, how we can able to bring a universal design. That is the one which we have to look at it. Then there are certain facts and concerns if you look at it. In 2020, always be remembered as a year that changed everything, everywhere. The impact of the pandemic has been far-reaching across the industries. For the construction industry, especially, the year has been a major turning point. The global pandemic, if you see, combined with the looming deadline to resolve the effects of the climate change, has forced us, all industry and stakeholders, to completely rethink how to design the built environment. That's one item, how to design the built environment to better manage infection diseases and create a more sustainable future. At a time when health and hygiene are being given more priority in design and construction, it's important to remember that industry has a duty to support people of all abilities all abilities. Then, as per the census, you see 2011, the differently able population in India is 26.8 million. In percentage terms, it stands at 2.21%. There has been a marginal increase in the differently able population in India, with the figure rising to 21.9 million in 2001 to 26.8 million in this particular. After 10 years, you can able to see. There are 14.9 million men with disabilities as compared to 11.8 million women in the country. The percentage of the men with the disabilities is 2.41 as against 2.01. The social group-wise proportions also indicate the men with the disabilities higher as compared to the women. So this gives the alarming future. Our interest is to take them everybody together and design everybody not to lose any kind. We have to bring them to the mainstream and bring them to use all kind of facilities as other normal person is going to, is really in the application of certain things. In the same way we have to look at it and in what way we can able to do. Then if you see the historical architectural accessibility across the globe, this kind of a momentum started in 1950. Then there are a lot of places where they have given this significant importance in the global wise. The accessibility movement has come roots with the civil rights movement and the Civil Rights Act in 1964 it has started. These roots lie in the structure and implementation of laws dealing with their disabilities. First nationally recognized accessibility design in America, especially they have started in 1961. It served as an important reference for private entities and local and state governments. For all the other ways also, if you see the chronologically how the kind of importance being given 1950 to 2019 in a global wise, not only the United States and all the other places, though it has started early days in the United States of America, but whereas in each and every country started giving the full focus on these areas. So that becomes one of the essential and crucial requirement to give a universal design, especially architects has to achieve such kind of a task as normal tasks what we supposed to do. Then it comes to the Indian government. The question comes, is there any government, any like a government of India initiative exists for the barrier-free design? But definitely challenged. If you look at it, recognizing that the persons with a disability constitutes a valuable human resources for the country, and that a majority of such persons can lead a better quality of life if they are equal opportunities. That's the first main item for any kind of an act what we have got. The Persons with the Disabilities Act of 1995 specifically indicates effective access to rehabilitation measures, particularly the government, with a view to create an environment that provides such persons equal opportunities for protection of their rights and full participation in the society. Accordingly, what they did was formulated and brought a national level policy. That is a national policy persons with the disabilities. The policy outlines specific measures, strategies, and ensuring the protection of rights of PWDs, that is physically challenged persons to make them inclusive in the society. So that acts, there are few more acts also there. That is the Rights of Persons with Disabilities Act of 2016. Another one is that is the National Trust for the Welfare for Persons and STMs and the Other Mental Retardedness and Multiple Disabilities Act in 1999. And the Rehabilitation Council Act also there in 1990. All items specifically mentions to us is to make us responsibility, to give the such responsibility which has been cast upon the appropriate governmental to take an effective measures to ensure that persons with a disability enjoy their rights equally with others. Equally with others is the one important thing that which really entire focus is there, more or less in all the acts, and then when it is getting really proper processing to come down to the level where it has to be get implemented. Generally, whatever we have seen, there are 4 areas. Certain sections specifically tells to us that's the ramps in the public building, provision of toilets and wheelchair users, and braille symbols and auditory signals and other things in the elevators and other access points. Specifically, that's in the hospitals and the primary health centers, and also schools and the rehabilitation centers. These are the areas the focus has been given. Of course, there are many more areas where we can able to look at it, where we can able to put it in a proper way to make everyone is accessible to all facilities and all kind of spaces generally in architect designs. So success and failures, if you look at it broadly, what we have seen, some successes like, the initiatives taken by different organizations. UGC also initiatives taken by AICT also has published a book consisting of all the information where in what way we can able to incorporate. Similarly, CBWD also made a comprehensive manual guidelines for architects and all to follow those norms. And other than that, national awards also been given by some other like ministry. Particularly the ministry, I'll let you know, the ministry is also organizing it specifically to in what way all schools and hospitals they will look into it. But here they give the national awards for the empowerment of persons with disabilities. Every year on this, particularly the International Day for the Disabled Persons, that 3rd December, the Department of Empowerment and Personal Disabilities, Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment, confers the national awards for individuals, institutions, states and districts, etc. So many other organizations for outstanding work done by them in the field of especially in the designing part, empowering of power persons with the disabilities. Because kind of items which we supposed to get it integrated in a like barrier-free designs, those things also been considered. Because such a kind of a great encouragement is been given to them. And then we do have certain failures also. Some places where we wanted to have a design to the length of almost a couple of kilometers, and then some part only we could able to do it, and rest of the part has not been taken up. So that is going to create a problem. So such a way, if you look at it, there are some places not being considered fullest extent. Even the places where we have done, it was not complete, it was an incomplete work. Those things really created a problem and getting created. That should not be the practice. And then we have to look into this matter very critically and apply it and execute it more effectively, so that the success we have to see, we don't want to see any more failures. So if you look at this, and then what is a universal design? There are specifically 7 principles were there. Then if you look at actually the term called universal design, it was coined by architect Ronald Mace to describe the concept of designing all products and the built environment, which is the built environment supposed to have proper access, aesthetics, and usable to the greatest extent possible by everyone, and by putting the people with disabilities on an equal footing and playing fields and all other places wherever it is there, especially it has been taken as a universal design. Integrating accessibility and universal design principles in architecture could enrich our understanding of a space also, and add a new layer of spatial experience for everyone. The 7 principles then broadly been mentioned in the universal design is equitable use. The design is useful and marketable to people with diverse abilities. And the flexibility in use, the design accommodates a wide range of individual preferences and abilities. Simple and intuitive use designs are easy to understand regardless of a user's experience, knowledge, and language skills or current concentration levels. Then perceptible information, that's what generally we also do whenever we go for any appreciating the architectural design. The perceptible information, design communicate the necessary information that to effectively to the users regardless to ambient conditions or users' sensory abilities. Tolerance for errors. Designs minimize the hazards and adverse consequences of accidental or unintended actions. These are the things we can able to detail it out. Once we are detailing it, we can able to see all items of 7 in what way it can be get integrated. Then low physical effort. Design can be used effectively, comfortably, and with minimum effort. Size and shape for approach and use. Appropriate size and depending upon the occupancy, and the size which is really depending upon the kind of a usability. Space, which we design it to kind of a users. All items provided for an approach, reach, manipulation, and use regardlessly the user's body side and posture and mobility. Then you see like who are face barriers, type of disabilities what we have, what is barrier-free environment. If you look at that broadly, the wheelchair users, people with limited walking, and moving abilities, and people with visual impairment and low vision. That's what barrier-free design. It is even meant for the elderly people, and elderly people will have physical ailments and some problems like they're getting the full vision also. There may be a problem where they will have the low vision. People with hearing impairment, elderly, and even infants, small children also to be considered, pregnant ladies, and as well as with this one, what type of a disabilities we'll have, more or less we can able to see. There's a locomotor, cerebral, leprosy. After leprosy curing also, they may not be in a position to really perform as a normal person. Some extent of the blindness, hearing impairment, mental illness, mental retardation, rehabilitation. What is the barrier-free environment? If you look at it, it is the space that allows for free and safe movement, functions and access for all, regardless the age, sex, and conditions. The space or a set of services which you can see accessible to everybody. Environment means buildings, roads, parks, gardens, all the spaces, even including services and transportation and products of daily use. The products, everything which it covers and comprises everything. So then when you go and have the broad understanding about it, it is again I wanted to bring the person generally, whatever you take it, disability, you keep it aside. Everything an architect works with the limitations and the challenges. In what way the type of a challenges generally we look at it. We look at the things when normal healthy person generally we say what is healthy. It is also a limitation. A person can see only to certain extent of distance, not full length he can able to see. What exactly those distances also generally we term it like intimate space, where your eye can able to see certain distance and can able to understand the person's feelings. And if it crosses beyond some 20-30 meters, then you will be in a position to say generally we call like intermediate space. Intermediate space is where you can see a person may not be in a position to see the feelings. That's a visual cone also. Our vision also has got the limitation. Similarly, a person can walk only certain distance, certain speed. The speed, even if you wanted to run, you cannot run more than particular speed. See, after that you cannot run, means it is a disability. It is a kind of a limitation. It is a kind of a challenge what we have. Even our ears can hear only after certain decibels onwards. Even 1 decibel, 2 decibel, 10 decibels items, you may not be in a position to hear. We have got, it is everywhere. Like for instance, even if you wanted to smell only certain smells, our nose can able to understand that, and even all kind of limitations, a person, human normal body has also got it. When we have got the norms of the national building, even if the height, you cannot grow more than certain height. So the height is the limitation to you. Accordingly, you have designed the openings and the doors. So everywhere there is a kind of a limitation you are having or a challenge you are having. For such a challenge, you are designing it, you are making such people are comfortable. For that reason, even when you talk about the disabled, whatever we are calling, all of them are also equivalent, and everything is a challenge to an architect. In what way we can make them comfort? You are making a normal person is a comfort means normal person itself having the lot of limitations. Those limitations you are taking into the consideration. Accordingly, you are designing it. Similarly, same way we can able to design to Divyang, whatever we say, differently challenge, or there are different words which we are saying it differently challenge or differently able. For people, this is the kind of a limitation they have. In what way we can able to design. That's way we have to look at it. So if you look at the certain items, what we can see, access and circulation. Some of the images, certain places where some people have really designed and made it more impressive, more effectively, such things which may give an insight thought to us in what way it can be done. Architect's responsibility is a huge, where first thing is you have to understand the challenges, whatever you are having. After understanding the challenges, you have to think about it, how the challenges can be addressed. For addressing it, either For a normal or a differently challenged, for all of them, there is a challenge when it is placed to you. It is not that just what certain standards we are going to see now in this journey. Other than that, what the best we can able to do. That's only the guideline to make it a minimum. What exactly the maximum extent of the service we can able to provide, make them more comfortable, more impressive environment, more like inclusive kind of a thought process we can able to, more experiencing we can able to bring it. For instance, the particular one what we are seeing, space and the reach requirements. Then ground and floor surfaces and accessible routes and paths and corridors, exterior pedestrian routes, vehicular access, entrances, doors, exterior routes, ramps, staircases, handrails, elevators, escalators, of course, escalators, not there, elevators, and then the platforms and lifts and all other items. When we really look at the conditions, in what way those things generally which now designed for normal, then normal also have got the challenges. For challenges, you have designed all these things. For that, how we can able to make it more comfortable, more useful to other in a different way challenged persons. So that's what if you can look at it. When you are going to, because these are the standards already been given, still we thought that let's have some more understanding in what way the challenges when a wheelchair person, the wheelchair itself, on the basis of the ergonomics, it has been designed. Then when it comes closer to the wall, then if you put the foot length to the body, spinal stride, whatever we have seen there, it is a 1370 is the minimum distance from the kind of a barrier, because there is a platform or a kind of a desk or any kind of a, even including the wash basin also, then where we can able to see what exactly the comfortable height when you keep your legs properly and make your back straight, and then wanted to access to a longest distance with a distance of the hand, what we say, the hand distance generally to be there for the 610. That's what in mm, if you see in the inches, 24 inches, 2 feet, more or less. Because you should be in a position to access to that particular point. When you are when any person is in the wheelchair, then how the wheelchair really functions and what way the space, what it demands, then what extent it's supposed to be away from the wall or away from any kind of a desk or any table or a wash basin or any kind of a lower level cabinet you are having, you're supposed to, because these are the standards are there. Other than that also you can think of it, because sometimes these standards we can able to modify depending upon the persons to whom you are designing. So look at this, like once you bend, once you move, and the basic anthropometrics. These are the basic anthropometrics. Even a height, generally we know very well, the platform height for we take 750. Here it comes to 900 mm. That's what I am saying is the footrest. Generally, it will be like everywhere. If you look at that footrest level and 250 and 150 level, and then it is away from the wheel, and there are some pedals will be there where it will rest, and then high forward and over and obstructions what we have got, those obstructions we can able to see in what way you can avoid such obstructions and make the movement of the wheelchair in a proper way. So there is the slopes when the wheelchair is keep moving. There's one of the item we are considering right at this moment. What is the type of a level differences once you are having? That is called the change in the levels. It's not like steps. Change in the level also there is a proportions. That proportions been given here. 0 to 6 mm up to that the movement immediately, it may not create any problem. Even if you are having the grills and grating, the way the grills and gratings makes the wheelchair comfortable. You see that one, what we have seen in the figure 5.1.2b. In case the wheel, if it goes that way, then it can able to. Otherwise, it gets stuck because of its radius, and then the lengthy side. If you are having, always what happens is then it will be get stuck up there, and it gives like a barrier. Actually, we don't want to create a barrier, then it will create a barrier. But these are the sensitive and small items. Also, if you really look at it, then it can be designed more effectively for seniors and young children and the people with this kind of a problem or this kind of a challenge. I don't want to say a problem, it's a challenge. And even the changeover spaces, kind of a slope, you can able to work out appropriately. Then parking areas, the location where it is supposed to be, and the movement for the vehicle after parking. Once you are taking out the wheelchair, what is the minimum width what you're supposed to have? The minimum accessible parking space what is required is 3,600. Then access side, L side is the kind what you can see is 1.2 means 1,200. 1,200 is why it can be located between two ordinary parking spaces. So that one what it is going to create. First thing is you should be very closer to the entrance lobby from where you will be get diverted to the different spaces. And next one is whenever you go for the parking supposed to be something like what has been mentioned 3,600. And parking lot to parking lot, once you take out the wheel and then wheelchair area, you have to have 1,200. These are the minimum standards depending upon the ergonomics and as well as the anthropometrics and the movement of the wheelchair being considered. So that way, these are the small items. Then it also adds beauty to your entire design. The way you making the entire space is accessible to everyone. Then curb stones, once the door opens, once you keep a car parking bay, generally what we give is a 2,500 to 5,000. But whereas when you open the door, the wheelchair opens it. One person wanted to come and sit there, and then another person has to take out and either motorized wheelchair or self-driven wheelchair or any person assisted wheelchair. There are three different kinds of wheelchairs we are having. All three items also it occupies the same space. Space occupation point of view, it requires 1,200 is the minimum after opening the door. Then you have to take the same wheelchair, either it's a total full turning. If it is going to be full turning, again you have to have 1,500 full turning, then 360 degrees turning, or otherwise 1,200 is good enough. Then it can make a way to go to other spaces whatever you have designed. So some symbols, access routes, and free from barriers, and what way we can certain examples and then some visuals also I am showing it to you so that it gives you certain clarity. And what already the basic thing what we have discussed in the early slides, like in what way it can be done, and the symbols also makes us this particular space is meant for that, so you don't really encroach or occupy or create a problem for free movement of the wheelchairs or the persons require that kind of a access of the space. So one way you can able to see like these are the things which are tactiles, guided paths. Tactiles may then further slides also it can give you a little more details. One is the leading and that's the direction tiles. Another one is the warning tiles. Another one the hazardous warning. Depending upon the depth and width of the buttons, whatever we normally put it on the surfaces, where he is standing, you can able to see that's a different type of a texture. There are two ways. When the movement, the stick, if you put it, different type of a feel he gets it. That feeling is good enough. It gives a message to him. It is a place like where he cannot go beyond that, or there may be a diversion of his space, or he has to stay back and again move his stick. So that direction tiles the moment when he touches it, then he proceeds towards that particular direction tile. So like where you can see tactiles, positioning of the tiles, and one is the direction and other one is it gives an information, the movement, button tiles if you can able to see. Then that gives the space from where you will be in a position to enter. There you have got the door opening. So stay back and then you lead further. Stay back and lead further. To lead further, these are direction tiles, the tiles which gives the direction, because that way the lengthier recessed kind of a surfaces what we see when I just show the cross section, it will be much more clear to you. So these are the whenever there is a swing doors, normal doors, and the movement and the access one place to another place. How even if in the public spaces or in a any kind of a shopping mall or even in a residential building. Also, wherever you wanted to show the axis, you can able to provide even the schools, hospitals, and all other places. These tactiles can really help them visually impaired persons, like where it gives the guiding to them where to go, where to stop, and where to take the diversion and where to move, and which places there's a hazardous and all the things which you're not supposed to go further. These are the direction items. These depending upon the kind of a texture and the surfaces, and even visually, if they are not very strong, they are having only short visibility. Even color also can really make them to understand. If they are partially disabled in terms of the okay. So we can see these are the things that direction and advance are the leading tiles, how it looks like. And there are the stop or dangerous tiles, that the danger, it gives the signal to you, okay, please stay back, so that you will be in a position to get there till you get the direction, till you touch the direction, till you feel that direction tile, you are not in a position to proceed. So such kind of an information, it can be passed, and this kind of a design can be integrated in a movement areas. So you can see that hazardous tiles, the diameter will be higher, and the normal dangerous tiles diameter may not be that much. So the positioning tiles also you have got it. This is where it can be seen little more detail. I think it has got little clarity as I have shown earlier slides. So you can see this how the hazardous tiles, warning tiles, and the direction tiles, the dimensions and other things. These are the things that are available in the market. Only if you can understand those tiles, only you have to suggest accordingly the path and other things we can able to design it. The designing is our part in what way it can be designed, angular, direction oriented, or the places where you wanted to stop them, specifically where there is a zebra crossings and a footpath closer to the zebra crossings. There is a different type of these kind of hazardous warning tiles or block tiles we design, or otherwise just next to. Even in the footpath also, as you know very well, there are three different zones. One zone is furniture zone, another one is the actual movement zone, and front side of the compound wall type zone. These are the things which it divides. Wherever there is a movement zone, this kind of a tiles can able to be get integrated, so that the movement gives you very smooth access for them to reach to the destinations wherever they want in a proper guiding and hazardous warning tiles, if you can able to make it appropriately. Some more details like positional tiles, what I'm saying is diameter and the spacing is varying. So the ground and floor surfaces I already mentioned to you in what way that the 6 mm to 12 mm only it can be adjusted or digested, provided if you are in a position to even take the wheels or even use the cane users or semi-ambulatory or ambulatory persons. You can see when you are using the carpet, how the carpets and the gratings can be get integrated. So even the carpet, the same level you should be in a position to make it, so that it may not be a kind of a place where this should be in a universal. There should be a language. This is a language, if we can able to have it, easily they can able to understand. But this language, only way how you are going to put it, so that you can take them and lead them to the spaces as others are really using. Others are having that kind of an experiencing of it. But such an extent, maximum extent we can able to do by integrating the same thing in a proper design. Some of the, because just now I got only some few minutes time they said it's left to me. So I will try to just make you to understand overall about it, in what way these wheelchairs, in case of a projection or information counter, if you are having it, the design, the desk where they can able to operate and write and collect information, anything. It's supposed to be like 750, and the bottom level is not less than 680, so that even including his knees, without any problem, it can go inside. They can sit comfortably and they can able to operate this kind of even furniture designs when it comes to the when you wanted to do the interiors. So the ramps, it's supposed to be always, you should remember it, 1,500 is the minimum. It should not be less than that. Even you have to even introduce the railings of a 900 level, where you can, like cane users can able to make use of it. The slopes always, it should not be there are different slopes are there, starting from the 1:10, 1:12, 1:16, even 1:20. So all these things matters to us. In what way? The maximum slope 1:10 means, even if you say 150 mm height, it will be there 1500 mm length. Similarly, 75, if it is a 1:8, that is, if you can able to say 12.5% of the slope. If it is the 75 mm is the maximum, it can go for the height for the length of 600 mm. These are the only things which standards have been converted and shown in the form of the lengthwise, how the length supposed to be in terms of its height been mentioned here. Easily you can able to see 1:12 gradient means this is how we will be in a position to work out. In most of the ramps we have seen, the ramps, it can be get integrated with the tactile warning strips, and as well as the landing for the ramps, where you will be in a position to allow wheelchairs to go very, very, comfortably without any obstructions and not going beyond its limit of its speed. So where the maximum length 1:20, generally 1:20 or 1:60 is ideal. Generally, in hospitals also, we see maximum of 1:16, but not 1:12 or 1:14. Mostly what we see is 6,400 length, only 400 is the rise you can able to make it. This way we can see, like, we can say ideal level and accessible pathway and assistance required and hazardous where it is crossing. So that is the reason accessible pathway, if it is a 1:20, it's more accessible. But maximum assistance is also required, provided if you are going up to the maximum of 1:10 ratio. But less than 1:10 is not at all advisable. So it is one thing you have to have, because these standards are available, but still to make you to understand, even sometimes you yourself can design taking certain things into the consideration. But the architect, what requires is the information, the data, and the innovation what has been made. All items, if you gather and if you are having in your mind, easily you will be in a position to put into your design, and you will see like how the design works. Because you are the visionary, you are going to design any campus or office building or residence or any kind of a commercial, everything, like how the people are going to use, are different type of people, how they are going to use. Even there is, irrespective of the limitations, it should be accessible, it should be workable to everyone. So that way, once you should have a clarity in case if the child, that wheelchair user is going to be there in that particular area, how he reacts, in what way we have to make that particular space accessible to him. If he is accessible, what exactly the appropriate slope we have to give. These are the things which you can able to make. If there are two persons with a semi-ambulatory, ambulatory or wheelchair persons, if it is there, there are standards. Generally, you can able to see. It should be running slope of 1:12 to 1:20. Width should be something like 1200 mm to enable the wheelchair to turn, or preferably at least, this is what I'm telling you, mostly don't take it 1200. These are the guidelines they have given. Even practically I'm saying 1500 is the minimum, 1500 mm is the minimum one for two wheelchairs. If it is crossing each other, then you have to have it. Even otherwise, if another person is there, there should be a properly, even if they say 1200 is good enough, it takes only 900 as far as the actual design is concerned. For architects, I'm telling you, you have to give minimum of 1500. Irrespective of the occupancy and the kind of load or occupancy load you are designing it, whether it is a double loaded corridor or a single loaded corridor. But when you really come, wanted to do a proper, because double loaded corridor also, if you are having it 2400, and depending upon the occupancy, that tells you here, not only the depending upon the occupancy, once this is going to be the situation there, you wanted to provide the barrier-free environment, and making the wheelchair and cane users comfortable must be minimum, we have to maintain 1500. Places where there is a turning point and the starting points, you have to have what the kind of a warning tiles. Like same way we have shown the kind of a button tiles, in that button tactiles, which gives the warning, so that they can understand something, either it gives the diversion to your route, or there may be some kind of obstruction you are going to have, or maybe a mid landing, or it is a landing, whatever it is. So there is immediately a great change is going to be there. So you have to be careful. That's how the signal it gives to them. See how it looks like, what way, before steps, this is how it has to be given. So that they can lead to the corner and they can hold, even if it is a partially visibility if they are having, they can hold the railing and then they can move and then they can go to their direction of work. Of course, handrails of a different nature you can see. This is about is the much better to use it. You can embed it in a kind of a wall or straight away to the running rail. Also, you can able to make it. So minimum is the one which is 50 mm clear from the wall. It is required, and then it should be fixed as 30 to 50 is good enough, but still 50 is always better. That you can have it. So the slopes and the person walking together, in what way it looks like, and the height of the railing also you can see in what we can go up to the extent of 2 feet 6 inches and the 30 inches, or otherwise 750 or 750, even some place like other rails, 750 is for the children, and then 900 even for the elders also, they can make use of it. Where like one side steps and other side you can able to introduce the railings of the ramps in such a way that where both the person, all the persons can be accessible through this design. Elevators and platforms, of course, that also saves and gives you the same feeling. And then what a minimum 800 is the width of the elevator, so that wheelchair can move in very easy, with ease. You can see in the plan also like how the doors of the elevator is supposed to be there. Minimum or more than 800 is the better. The control positions should be accessible to his hand, a person sitting there, so that this is where the length, the one what you have to fix it from the floor level, finished floor level to the usable level is up to the 900 mm. Doors of this nature is always better. And then here the doors, how it's supposed to be get opened. Once it is open, and the bottom floor also clearance has been mentioned very critically. So window openings, 1200, 900, like you can see when the openings and the fixtures, wheelchair user specifically, it can able to tell you how it's supposed to be. Then this just a storage. Once there's a storage, the leg movement, the leg room may not be having. In case if you have provided the leg room, recessed leg room, this need not be. If you are not in a position to provide the recessed leg room, so what happens is then you have to have the pull-out systems, so that that extent his legs can go and hand can really spread, and he can able to be, he is accessible to the items whatever he wanted to take. So of course, this is a services design requirement in generally in what services and what level is required. Lower limit for the telephone and the TV sockets, and ranging from the different type of things like what is required at 1,750 or 1,000 and 1,200 upper limit for all controls. This is how the controls, maximum upper limit is 1,200. That's how if you can able to make it, the controls are the switches where you can able to easily access and operate the systems. So public facilities and telephone booths also essentially it's supposed to be like this, and it should not make the person to be out from the particular obstruction, so that this way the recessing items also, in case if you put it, there is a particular dimension of the 350 mm, if you can able to make it easily without any difficulty, you can press the buttons and access to the public telephones. So now this is one important thing, which wash basins, and then there is a leg room, which is very much important. Legs cannot go inside. If it goes inside, this is how it's supposed to be. It should not stuck and obstruct its general movements. Platforms, doors, sizes, and safety barriers and landings, if you see. Broadly, I'm showing it to you so that quickly you are seeing certain things are there in the standards, as in CBW standards, AACTE standards for the universities and the colleges also they have made it, and then general national building code standards, and then there is the universal building code also we are having. There also we have got the standard. You go through it, and Some of the items only I am showing, depending upon the conditions, situations to where you are designing it, those things can be accordingly, you can able to integrate it in overall your design. So pathways, sidewalks, and all the things which color and as well as the texture, even including the guiding lines, everything can able to make a person to reach to the places wherever you want, where you really take the design and integrate it into overall design that matters. So how the generally movement of his stick, which really gives a lot of information so that he can able to assess and access to the different areas, the diameter and the length of the stick, and then how the pathway should be, like, preferably 1200 mm. The minimum width of the two-way wheelchair traffic passages, I said to you, 1500. Preferable width is easy as it is 1800. It's best you can able to even go for it. So you can see like how 1500 mm can able to really make it. Two wheelchairs can cross each other. What is the appropriate? 5% slope and 2% slope. Slope of this nature is always dangerous. Then you should be more slope across the path should not be exceed 2%. Otherwise, it is very dangerous and more discomfort it creates. So this is where, like in case of footpaths, generally wherever you wanted to have the zebra crossings, then you will come with the button tiles, the tactiles marking and guiding strips. It stops there when the footpath level is 150 and the normal road level, if you think that it is plus or minus 0, then the slope you work out where the slope is getting joining to the level of the road level, then you have to use hazardous tiles and guiding tiles, not guiding tiles, hazardous tiles and the danger tiles, where they can stop and negotiate in what way they have to go. The toilets, which is one important thing, it is a prime requirement also in all the places. When the wheelchair goes from there, how he shifts to the WC, then one can able to think, and then accordingly the width has to be worked out. You can see in case of the wash machine is also there, the movement becomes tough. If it is 1500 dia, if you can able to make full length, you can see here D is coming to 1.5 meters. So if there's another element of wash basin is there, then it cannot. In case wash basin has been provided in a proper way, there should not be a bottom trap. If bottom trap should not obstruct, it should be just straight away the drain pipe has to be taken. That's concealed within the wall. The wash basin may not create a problem. If you are having the bottom trap that hits the legs, and then again this 1500 dia, it cannot work out properly to make a full round in the toilet. See how the ship, this already I have shown it to you, but still second time I am showing. This is one important thing. Only WC if you are going to have it. This is how the dimensions can be seen, 1900, and the height handrail, because he has to hold the handrail either at the back side or the side. Then you can able to shift from wheelchair to the WC. These are the very important things. Then these things also should be taken care. Otherwise, the design what you have made, it is not going to be useful to them. Side rail for the toilets where they can hold, and you can see for the wash basin, the angles what we fix, and the bottom trap in what way you have to design. You have to be very critical enough while designing and thinking about it in what way this should not obstruct us. You can see that what I am showing it to you, the bottom trap. Sometimes you can straight away from the top, even without the P trap, you can take a straight trap. And then mirror also should be inclined. It may be more preferable. If it is a straight, it may not be. Some ceiling or certain things may be getting reflected. If it is slight angle is there towards. But if it is there, angle is towards his face side with a normal to the line of axis, visual line, normal to the visual line, probably it may give the full clarity about the mirror to him. All things put together, in what way you can able to see the railing of the door, the handrail of the door, and then internal items, all items. If you can see, even here it has been given the cistern tank and everything. It's a very old design. Nowadays there is a flushing tanks and all other things. like things are even wall mounted things are coming. That's more preferable than floor mounted. There are certain symbols, actually, these are urinals where cane users and other users also make more effective, so that you can able to see the side rails that they can leave the canes and they can able to hold it. Even they can use that these kind of urinals in a proper way. Symbols, there are four main functions. One is the information signs, direction signs. Of course, there is the identification signs and warning signs. All signs are available. These things which you can able to see and place it in proper place, then that information will be given to everyone, even differently able as well as normally able normal persons given access to them. Differently able persons, so they can take the access of that and they can make use of it. For both the ways, it's a win-win. So that these symbols makes a big matter to us. So symbols plays a very big role, gives a lot of information. This information is the one which is required for the huge and big complexes or any other campus or any education institutes and all other spaces generally architect designs. Of course, where the signage and what level it's supposed to be 1350, where the width from the main frame it is required 150, so that they can be accessible very easily. Even you can able to see the letters also for visually impaired or partial visual impairment. Then the letter sizes also is important, like the size of the letter, height of the letter, minimum 60 mm to 35 mm if you can take it. Those things will be very easily they can able to see. Everything as an architect works for what? He works for ease, to create a comfort to everyone. That matters a lot. So make comfort to everyone, understanding about the abilities of a particular person. Abilities and disabilities are any abilities, whatever I can put it in the quotations, abilities. A person's what he wants, how we can make a person comfortable. Either is a visually impaired, partially visually impaired, or any other like physically or any other impairment we are having. Understand them properly. And our duty is to do the best service to him. And then some of the things, specifically the topic of today's is differently able persons, how we can architectural interventions can bring them more comfort. Architect himself is meant for that. Understand the situation and provide a design to that given situation. Because same way, even building code also, I am telling you, it is one way of one way of directions giving to us. For this human has got, these are the limitations and these are the comfort conditions. These are the minimum standards you have to follow. Same way, this is what we have to do. It's not like there is no rocket science here. So you can be much better. You can do much more. Standards gives you only guidelines to you. It's only recommendations. In what way you can able to excel and create a better environment, that's all in your hands. So visually also, if you want to see any other information science, but it should not be a flat. It should be, he is just resting at its back. And then his eye level is not a normal eye level. Normal eye level, in case if you are having the even up to the height of 1500 and not having inclination, still you are accessible, you will be in a position to see what exactly they want you to see and enjoy, either whatever it is. But if you are sitting in a place and keep moving, what do you want, in what way you are in a position to receive the information properly? Vision range of signages, vision range for any type of signage, either it's the regulatory or the directional or any other signages. Because these are the, of course, we will be doing it, but there is a set norms are there to make the person's ease and comfortable. These are the things without fail we have to make it. So illuminations, like illumination level of signs and common areas, lighting for areas and all other things. And finally, the benefits of inclusive design, what it is. There's a number of benefits that can achieve for designing all these inclusive conditions. First, understand about the pre-design considerations. Systematically, you understand and try to create a kind of a concept. And through concept of that, you try to develop a design development. And of course, construction details and documents, and start experiencing first initially by your own eyes, the design, whatever we have given, how useful, how inclusive, how it has made everyone to feel comfortable and accessible and kind of experiencing you wanted to generate and design, whether they are in, if you are in a position to do it, that is really the architect's duty, what we have to perform. We can feel ourselves, we are performing it 100% what we supposed to. Depending living and aging population and social inclusion. Both all items are equally important to us, so that we will be in a position to, these are the challenges generally we have. These challenges we have to address. Then only our design is, we can say, you can first you satisfy yourself the design what you have given, whether it is inclusive or not. If it is inclusive, you are successful. That is how we have to look at it. Then finally, thank you to everyone. Say disabled are cities or spaces designed. Spaces are disabled, but not the citizens and the persons. The space, if it is not being really addressing it, means that space is disabled. The city is disabled, but not the persons. So we have to live up to the expectations of everyone, and that government policies and all other things also, they are really making it. We have to work with them and see that every environment what we design and generate, it is going to be useful to everyone with an inclusive approach. Thank you. Am I taking time, or is it within time I covered?
No, sir, it is within time. And I would like to thank you, sir, for your detailed and elaborative study shown to us about the importance of the anthropometry and ergonomics for the better experiences in bringing inclusive accessibility within the built forms. I hope it was like 75 slides and we were thinking, but you have actually completed all. Thank you so much, sir. Now I would like to ask the ask the participants to ask questions. Hello. Participants, hello. Anyone have any questions?
Ma'am, can I ask mine?
Yeah, please.
Yeah. Hello, sir. Thank you for a detailed presentation. Quite a lot of information put together in quite a little time to say. I have a question. For all the talk we do about bringing in, like making spaces more inclusive, why don't we have it as a part of our syllabus? It's not there in the VTU syllabus. It's not there in the SPA Vijayawada syllabus I've just checked. There was a syllabus called Barrier-Free Built Environment in JNFAU, but now that has been reduced to being an elective in the newer syllabus. So only parts of being barrier-free are being mentioned in the architectural design topic, but we don't teach the students about any of these necessarily. It's an option. Why isn't it being made compulsory?
No, I agree partially. I disagree partially. Reason is, it is there in the syllabus of SPA Vijayawada. First part I wanted to tell you. One more thing, design means what? Design never means for, is there anywhere it has mentioned you have to follow a national building code in your syllabus?
No, so it's a guideline that's given to us.
The guideline, because normally as an architect, I'm telling you, architect is designing for a human, means human has got certain limitations. This is what specifically my talk started. You cannot hear more than certain decibels. Your ear will break. Your eardrums will break. You will hear only certain decibels onwards. And you cannot see kilometers together. You will see only certain distance. You cannot walk with certain speed. You can walk only with a certain speed. You cannot walk more than that particular speed. You are not grow. Nobody will grow more than certain height. And all the limitations in a human body is having, and all the experiences we wanted to create, with such limitations, we work on their design. We want so many number of air changes depending upon the ventilation requirement, oxygen requirements, what do you want, and ease out and take out the carbon dioxide from the spaces, a number of air changes we have. Everywhere we have, even energy efficient design, or any kind of a design, first we talk and discuss about anthropometrics of the human body. Then accordingly, we design the spaces. Same way, don't make it as a special this thing you required. It is our duty as an architect. Architect's duty is to understand the situation and provide the solution to all. Don't leave anybody. You have to provide to all. That's what they said specifically. What was that they have said? Universal design. It is accessible to everyone.
So totally agree to what you're saying.
But
I'm
in
asking as
architectural
a part
design,
of
when we speak
Yeah.
about any studio exercise, first part within the studio guidelines, even several times ministry also asked whether it is there in the part of our syllabus. It is there. From the first anthropometrics when we teach to them, even to the last thesis, whenever the students normally they take up at the 10th, the last semester, this is one
Right.
important area we are inculcating the thought process to the students and they are using it.
Right. So as a part of the design, but not as a part of the theory, like everything that we discussed right now, what is your opinion? Don't you think it should be a part of the theory syllabus?
In art appreciation and design theory, generally we teach this also in design theory. Even planning point of view also it is there that planning theory and principles. This particular part is there. If you wanted to refer it, you can refer our syllabus.
Sure, sir. Thank you so much.
Sir, there is one question from a participant called Resmi. She typed it in the chat box. She's asking, how do you distinguish between barrier-free and universal design?
Universal design covers all. Visually, barrier-free generally it covers only physically impaired. More or less, both the things goes hand in hand. Not a very straight line demarcation. This is barrier free. This is universal design. Universal design is meant for everyone, visually impaired, physically, even otherwise also partial impairment, semi-ambulatory, ambulatory, wheelchair users, and partial visibility and no visibility. For all of them, we have to address them in the universal design, and barrier free is mostly for the physically impaired.
Hello.
And that's what I think. There won't be much of difference between these two.
Hello.
Yes, please.
Hello. Yes, sir. Hi, this is Mitali calling from KSSA Bangalore. Talking from KSSA Bangalore. I don't have a doubt per se, but I just have just a query kind of thing. We have been talking about universal accessibility since a really long time, and specifically India has taken a lot of concerns regarding the same, and they have started designing a lot of public spaces, which also includes institutions where they're trying to put up ramps and make it as barrier-free as possible. Can you tell us one good example of any of these public spaces which you think, according to you, is the perfectly designed space, a public space, which can be taken as an example for us to study?
See, as a government policy, you take any buildings in Delhi, recently newly came buildings, rather you can be able to see. Unless otherwise they are not providing the barrier-free environment, they are not getting the permission. One, you can see that the Civic Center building there at, that is a 28 floors building in Minto Road, Delhi. That is a fully barrier-free environment designed by Sirish Malpani. And similarly, like so many buildings are there, it's not like one in list. So many we can cite it in around like whatever the Rajrival designed buildings there at Connaught Place. You take out the building of even one place like LIC building designed by our Charles Korea. Padma Shri Charlatpuri, and so many people. Now the new construction is coming up in a very big way in Delhi, in around that War Memorial, India Gate, what we call. All buildings are fully barrier free, and even with the sophisticated automation systems also they are keep using it. But in whereas I don't know from where you are speaking from which place?
Bangalore, sir. Bangalore.
I think you can check in the Bangalore IIM building also definitely. See, like now what happens is there are two things. They have, as I can understand your even some difficulties, they made a few items are essential, especially for getting the approvals of the building. Like for instance, ramps supposed to be there, means they have provided the ramps. There should be one WC of so like barrier free or whatever we are talking.
Right,
But not that, it is just for fulfilling the requirement of the permissions. It is not actually the idea what one supposed to have. The same facilities can be used by everyone. So what we have to do is this facility is supposed to, an architect supposed to give much more importance, not for just getting the permissions or getting rid of these municipal occupation certificates. Because there is, other than that, now what this Ministry of Social Justice, they are doing it, they are conducting a competition every year for past 3 years only. From 2020 onwards, they have postponed the kind of awards they wanted to give. For every year, for university buildings, colleges, education institutions like schools and any higher and middle class, middle class schools, institutions, they are conducting a competition. You can see there is a fantastic way they really assess. A team of people will come and see whether things are in order or not. Then only they will be in a position to give the award if it is really working out effectively. It is not just most of the buildings are having. I don't think that very few buildings they are really now. I'm talking about the newly coming up buildings. All the buildings they are having the barrier free environment. Even if you take the SPA Vijayawada. We have lifts, we have ramps, we have all, any person can be very easily accessible to different places. Even if the basements also, we are having the ramps or the lifts or all other items, more or less we wanted to fulfill. We have fulfilled.
I hope, hello.
Yeah.
I hope few of the queries. Thank you, sir, for your suggestions and answers. Now I hope some questions are still there, but I want to tell that all the reading materials can be shared with you today. So you will get all the answers what you were asking. So we will, in a group mail, we can actually post you. Now, sir, thank you so much. Another speaker, Rachna Khare ma'am also joined. I think, sir,
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Sir, will you please?
I'm switching off.
Yeah,
Thank you very much, sir. It's such a wonderful presentation we have seen. Thank you very much.
Thank
Sir,
you.
I would request you to kindly share your email ID so that we can.
I will share my email ID as well as my PPT also. Please keep it.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Rachna ma'am is there. Yeah. Now our second speaker is Rachna Khare ma'am, and her topic is Universal Design Pedagogy from Exclusion to Inclusion. Am I audible? Yeah. Hello. Am I audible?
Yeah, you are audible.
Yes, you are.
Yes, ma'am. Welcome, ma'am. Now, before ma'am will take over the show, I would like to introduce her. Rachna Khare ma'am is full professor at School of Planning and Architecture, Bhopal, and served the institute in several administrative positions like Dean and Head of the Departments for Architecture, Conservation and Landscape. Prior to this, she was a Senior Research Fellow with Jamshedji Tata Universal Design Research Chair at National Institute of Design, Ahmedabad, taught at Birla BIT Mesra also. She is a dedicated teacher and keen researcher for the last 20 years. She was recognized as an inspired teacher by Honorable President of India and State Scholar in Residence at Rashtrapati Bhavan in 2016. Ma'am won a prestigious Fulbright scholarship twice with her second Fulbright Nehru selection in 2020 as educational administrator. She availed this fellowship in 2021 with select cohort in USA. She is one of the authors of Universal Design India Principles developed at the National Institute of Design, Ahmedabad in 2011. She serves a reviewer in many publications like EDRA, HFES, the Design Journal, and was also a jury member of Berkeley Prize Essay Competition 2013, endorsed by UC Berkeley, USA. Ma'am is well known as an activist and a founder member of 3 NGOs called Movement for Intervention, Training and Rehabilitation of Children with Autism, Mitra, Center for Assistive Built Environment, CAVE, and Arunodaya. Other than her regular teaching and research at School of Planning and Architecture, Rachna ma'am found and headed a Center for Human-Centric Research, CHCR, that aims to build a body of knowledge that responds to the design needs of a diverse human population, otherwise marginalized in the past design practices. With this, over to Rachna.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me here, Prashanti, and thanks for introducing me. At the end of the day, we all are teachers, and you will see this in all my presentations. So we all are together in this, conscious efforts towards accessibility and universal design. And I will share my screen just a minute.
Yeah.
Can you see my screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Good. Yes. So my topic today is Universal Design Pedagogy from Exclusion to Inclusion. And with all our accessibility efforts, we come across different kinds of terms related with accessibility and universal design, like barrier-free, like universal design, inclusive design, transgenerational design, design and well-being, and so many. So I'm going to talk about, briefly about all these terms and how universal design is part of it and how universal design is separate from it and how we have practiced it, in universal design pedagogy when we, in different ways we have done it in past at SPA Bhopal. So is it moving? Just a minute. Hello. Yeah. Is moving, right? So can you hear me?
Yes,
yeah. All. So my presentation outline is that I will talk about the concept of universal design, as I just said, then some of the global teaching, research and practices, very briefly, local UD teaching, universal design teaching, research and practice, and why we could do it at SPA Bhopal, who we are, just very briefly about that. And then I will share my experiences, the way we have done it in different modes and methods in SPA Bhopal as part of competitions, workshops, regular semester studios, integral studios and electives. So I'm going to share that. So universal design is little different from barrier-free. In generally, we all are architects and we have been teaching students of architecture for a long time. And we have, whenever we give an exercise to our students, we have those standards. And or we, people design based on their experiences in the past. And most of the people, we usually count users as the numbers, that these are the people who are going to use your auditorium, now design an auditorium and things like that. And we implicitly believe, assume that all users are young and able-bodied. We do not really talk about individual differences of abilities and capabilities and conditions. So, and then we say that in case we have designed it in this way, my parking is here, or my seating is here, then everybody is going to use, all my users are going to use my environments as I have designed it. In case I have asked them to do it this way, they are going to use it this way. And then we also believe that yeah. So we also believe that they are using in regular circumstances. They don't have any stress. They don't have any, any medical condition. They don't have any, and we also have never thought about conditions like COVID in past, because we have thought about the conditions and the environments as we have experienced in the past. And we also believe that they don't have permanent or temporary ailments. We all believe, and the person whom we are referring all the time in the standards, in the new words, in time savers, that person is an able-bodied. He was able-bodied when I was young. I was studying architecture, and now even when your students are studying architecture, he's able-bodied. He doesn't have diabetes. He doesn't have blood sugar, and he is a person who is immortal and free of any disabilities. So, but then when we are doing this, we are simplifying that all users are average users. They have average conditions. But is it really right to simplify this assumptions that average body users, average, a body is like an average body for everyone. And if we see different, components of our body, right from sight to brain to ears, our hearing, to our balance, to our dexterity, our arms, our bones, our hands, our legs, our bending, our walking, all these things get affected in our lifetime, even when we are young, when we are, in case a woman is pregnant, or maybe in case we are having any temporary bone fracture, or when we start using our specs, or when we are using our mobiles, when we are, walking in traffic, or when we become old. There's no one in this world who will remain perfect or will fit into the condition or the definition of average user, like we always refer to when we are designing a built environment. So that is what brings the concept of universal design. Universal design says that it's a design of products and environments to be usable by all people. All people here are not the people by numbers, but all people by age, ability, size, conditions, and different kinds of permanent and temporary ailments which they may have. So they say that it is to be usable by all people. Again, I will emphasize that all people are not all people, but all intended users, all users which are going to use that place. As in case I'm talking about office chair, I'm not talking about, a child, because he is not the intended user of that. So the design and environments to be usable by all people, all intended users, to the greatest extent possible, so that they are able to use it without any adaptations or specialized design. So same design is taking care of everyone and thinking about all users, all different conditions that, or all different, all diversity, which will be experienced, which will be there in the users by context, by different kinds of, criteria. So we are thinking about all intended users, and we are making that design usable by all intended users to the greatest extent possible. If they are not able to use it, greatest extent means it is not like, you'll make it perfect for everyone, but then greatest extent possible without adaptations or specialized design, but you are making a room for any adaptations or any changes without making it, getting it labeled that yes, it is meant for a certain group whom, I'm going to put with the help of a sign or something that this is meant for people with disabilities. So it is different from accessibility or barrier-free. Here you can see that, yes, they have, when they were, can you see my cursor? Can you see my cursor?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so here you can see there is a curb cut as per the guidelines, as per the barrier free this thing. There is a curb cut on the other side also. But when the people were laying out this road divider, then they never thought about people with disabilities, because that was another layer which was added after this pedestrian crossing and curb cut was made. So here you are not talking about the people and all intended users. Here you were thinking about the guidelines in the first phase, but you were not thinking about the guidelines in the second phase. That is why, and in case everybody would think about, all people, those who are people, not just numbers, different kinds of people, then you will not make a mistake. So that is why it is different from accessibility and barrier free. In accessibility, we talk about different kinds of guidelines. We have you must have seen harmonized guidelines, you must have seen CPWD guidelines, and there are several guidelines across the globe which people refer to, and then we follow that guidelines, and we comply to those guidelines which are meant for people with disabilities. And then unless and until we comply, unless and until there is enough compliance, then maps don't get passed from the authorities through which you can implement those designs. So this is the accessibility, where you are talking about the guidelines and implementation of the guidelines. This is very important. Usually when we talk about universal design and the places and the context from where the definition of universal design came, the accessibility was already there. In barrier free, we are thinking about the barriers. We are not thinking about the people, right? We are thinking about the barriers, and we talk about, hello, all okay?
Please unmute yourself.
Yeah, so we are in barrier free, we are talking about barriers, right? As the name suggests, you are thinking about all the barriers and you are eliminating the barrier. But in universal design, you are thinking about the people. Adaptive design, you are making adaptations. You are thinking about people, but you are thinking about making adaptations which are there in already existing designs, right? So you are thinking about, how to change it to make it friendly for people with a disability. In assistive design, you are thinking about assistive technologies like wheelchair. And in transgenerational, you are thinking about people, same designs which people can use, over their lifespan. But in universal design, you at the design stage, when you are conceptualizing, you are, right from the day one, you are thinking about all different kinds of people. It's a way of thinking. It is way of thinking, and including all diverse users step by step in the process of design, in the implementation of design.
Ma'am, please. Sir, Ramesh sir, I think you are on mute.
Sorry.
Yeah.
So I guess now the difference between all these terms would be clear, that universal design is a way of thinking where you are including everyone right from the day one in your design process, rather than making changes, and you take it as an opportunity, not like a set of guidelines which are supposed to be followed, or you are forced to follow as part of compliance. Unless or until you comply to those, your maps will not be passed. So you're not thinking about guidelines as a set of constraints which you are forced to follow, but it is an opportunity where you are thinking that, yes, these are the different kinds of people. Some of them are there in the guidelines, some of them are not there in the guidelines, and I have to include all of them. So universal design is not a product, it's a process of including everyone step by step. First is identifying diverse users, and then to include all of them in your design one by one or all together. That's up to you, but you make sure that users, the people, the different kinds of people are there in this, are central to your design thinking process. So like here you can see, this is an example from Delhi Metro, which is an example of accessibility implementation and universal design. But how universal it is when you come out of Delhi Metro, then you see you have to, all people with disabilities have to brave situations like this where they are supposed to. So you are not thinking about the people, you are thinking about the funding, you are thinking about the international reputation, international funding, which you will not get unless and until you comply to the guidelines. But are you really thinking about the people and thinking about making them independent by your design? So here you can see what happens in case we are not thinking about universal design. So this is another example of, where you are not thinking about, labels of disability, that this is wheelchair sign, but you're thinking about long, tall, short, wheelchair users, children, and everyone. And in the design itself, you are considering all of them just by altering the heights and, making it useful for everyone. So it's not a universal design, it's not a specialized design approach, but still it encompasses all approaches like accessibility, barrier-free. All these things are there. But when you are doing universal design, you are thinking, we assume that you have done all those things which we have just talked about, but then you have done it in a beautiful way without, labeling it, without making any adaptations, and taking care of everyone whosoever is going to use it. It doesn't talk about, it is against homogenization through uniformity. Like it may appear, once it happened with us, in one program, one person thought that universal design is one design which is taking care of everyone. So it is not true. It is against homogenization through uniform. One single design isn't supposed to, which will not take care of everyone. But one design is taking care of needs of everyone. So and people believe that universal design is just can I hide this? Yeah. So so now I think this myth is clear that universal design is just not another term for accessibility. It may encompass the guidelines and complies to the guidelines, but it is not just accessibility. Universal design is just for old and disabled. This is another myth which is not correct. Say, for example, in this picture, you can see, yes, there is a curb cut, but then it is also being used by, people, those who are using, those who are affected by age, those whose knees are being affected, or, the people, those who are have a requirement of having, small children in pram, so they are also using it. So it is not just for old and disabled people, and then there are skaters, there are different kinds of people, those who are young and much able than so many others, but then they are making use of this opportunity of having a curb cut. So it is also not true that a universal design is ugly and costs more. So it is not just that you have designed something and then later on with like a band-aid, you are making a ramp together with it. But in case you are thinking about a all diverse users right at the design stage, it is not going to cost more, but it is like an opportunity to do innovation. So, and then you always think that many people think that only small number of people will benefit from universal design. So why bother? But in case I will ask you, how many of you use specs? How many of you have families? How many of you ever had any, pregnant women in your families? Or if I'll ask you that, tell me anyone who's not going to get old. So it is not about those XYZ people, those who are very small in numbers, but for ourselves, but for our future selves. All of us are going to use designs in case they are being designed universally. There are so many architects, so many masters, those who have done the design, but they could not visit their own designs, own buildings when they became old. And and same will happen with all of us, all of our students also, because none of us are with, can defy age. And universal design is not just those guidelines which can be done in product, or those principles which can be done in product, but it is applicable in every scale, right from planning cities to landscape, architecture, interior, to the instruction. You can even see one graphic, which is not just saying that it is meant for people with disabilities. It's just it says restroom for individuals requiring assistance. There are people, those who are traveling with smaller children of another gender. Is there are people, those who are old, and then they have their assistants, those who are or their children, those who are traveling with them and are helping them, are from another gender. So which toilet they are going to use. So in case some of the people have any different requirements, they can use these washrooms. There can be even washrooms like restrooms for individual, those who are not neurotypical. So even that can be a way to show that yes, there are, we acknowledge that people are different, and then we are providing facilities which are absolutely not being labeled, not being stigmatized, but then everybody is using it with same pride. So when we talk about the concept, how it evolved globally, so there was an architect, very celebrated architect, architect Ron Mace. He gave the definition of universal design. He was paraplegic and a wheelchair user, and first time he gave this concept in mid 1990s. By then, American Disability Act was there in place, and then it was being revised, it was being implemented. People were being given rights to go to the court and sue the authorities or the architects in case the buildings were not accessible. But then he realized that just by making a building accessible or making set of guidelines will not enable everyone, those who are sitting at home, those who are not able to come out of their houses. But in case we are talking about differences and acknowledging differences through universal design without with no stigma, then it will become more universal, and people will come out of their homes, and then will be able to use these spaces with much more confident way, in much more inclusive way. So this concept was given, and then it was being rethought and redefined by diverse writers around the world. First, the universal design, 7 universal design principles came, then several, even the goals of universal design came out. Then there are different kinds of, people, even in India, we worked on universal design, India principles. So when these principles were developed, or India principles or principles were developed, every time we had people from different disciplines, even wheelchair users in our boards, when the principles were formulated in their boards, and then they developed these universal design. Now, today, universal design concept goes beyond usability to access promotion of health and wellness, and it talks about promotion of social participation of all threads. So all those, concepts where we talked about function in the building, and then wellness, health, well-being, all these things are, environmental design, environmental psychology, sociology, anthropometry, all these parallel threads are converging, and then converging into a larger goal of sustainability, community health, and overall well-being, which we say human-centered design, which is which is a process where people are, as I was saying, that people are in the center of the design process, where which can be applied from the city level to handheld products, where you are thinking about individuals, their well-being, their physical well-being, emotional well-being, psychological well-being, and then you are making human-centered. how the whole concept of accessibility, universal design, all those threads of converge into human-centered design. Right, it's not moving here. In India, universal design practice and education became universal design practice became a worldwide movement, but demonstrated limited acceptance in India. We had our first act of which is PWD Act in 1995. But it had only one article which talked about, accessibility in infrastructure. Gradually, we had several other acts. We also have UNCRPD. We also have, different guidelines which came over the period of time. But then we always have seen universal design as a set of codes and guidelines. We also have taught it like a set of codes and guidelines, but there are only few efforts in universal design education and research. These guidelines are being seen as, few sheets which people make where you have the wheelchair user and different range and reach, which is being demonstrated through design. And these are all based on Western model where you have these guidelines, you have, and then you are not thinking about Indian context. You are talking about curb cuts, but we don't have streets. We don't have pedestrian, pathways. Then where do you really see these guidelines in our context? And then without contextual understanding and application, sometimes these guidelines and codes lose importance. Here you can see some of the guidelines which are, as I gave you an example of Delhi Metro, you can see some of those things which are being, how to hide this, I don't know.
What, ma'am?
This line just coming नीचे
नहीं आ रहा है मैम, उसमें कुछ नहीं आ रहा है.
Okay, fine.
Okay.
So yeah. Anyway, it is coming, so I can't. Just a minute, I may have to.
Ma'am, only slide is visible, nothing is visible.
Okay, but I can't move my slide now.
Okay.
Just a minute, I'll do that.
Yeah.
Can you see the next slide now?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So in SPA Bhopal, we could experiment with universal design. We are SPA Bhopal is like SPA Vijayawada is a institution of national importance by Act of Parliament, and but we also have a center of Center for Human-Centric Research, which is a center which is made in SPA Bhopal, by permission of our Senate and our board. And this center works in for the vulnerable population. It works for different ethnographic and social research methods, and then do use all kinds of processes to include all vulnerable populations in the design and planning process. These vulnerable populations were otherwise marginalized in the past design practices. So we work by networking, identification of research priority areas, education, training, research and design development, dissemination, so many other things to do. And some of the examples which I said that I'm going to share are part of education and training. So we could do some of these studios because of the center, and also because since education and training was part of our domain of work, and also universal design design was coming into our objectives. So we could experiment a lot with universal design. So earlier, like most of the architectural schools, universal design was not part of regular postgraduate and undergraduate programs at SPA. We had subjects like, we still have these subjects, environmental psychology, inclusive design, man environment studies, sociology, but mostly these subjects were taught as theory courses. But with syllabus revision, we could connect all these things to our main studios. And we struggled within the existing system, before adopting universal design into our studios. And then initially we attempted short-term courses, student design competitions. So these were some of the programs which we organized, and then we tried to include all kinds of concepts, which all of us were all good design concepts, which the academia was trying to include in practice and into our curriculums. So we had these short-term courses, workshops, and regular studios, and these short-term courses were acceptable. But then how we did with the long-term and full studios, that I'm going to share one by one. So I have divided my examples into 3 categories. One is national student design competitions and workshops, which we did as short-term parallel programs together with our regular curriculum, BArch and master's curriculum. We have, by the way, we have 2 undergrad programs in architecture and planning, and then we have 7 master's programs other than PhD. So we did these short-term courses in the beginning, and then we did some integral studios, which are also short-term courses. And then I'm going to share some examples of regular semester studios. So a national student design competition became an annual event from 2010 to 2014, where CHCR organized student design competition together with hands-on workshop and public exhibition every year to explore creative ways to offer new concepts to students of diverse design disciplines in the country, from architecture, from planning. So all of them came and they became part of these NSDCs and workshops and exhibitions. So, and then the idea of these competitions were to provide intense experiential understanding of the concepts related with environmental, cultural, and social sustenance to architecture and planning students. We also, as I said, that we explored design competitions as pedagogical tool to meet educational objectives that school has it in its charter. So we have a charter, and this was part of our charter. So you can see some of the simulation exercises. This is one of the 1-to-1 scale model which we have. You can move all these things which, as per all these fittings in a washroom or in a kitchen, as per the wheelchair users and different kinds of users. And this is another simulation exercise. And third objective was to network with various organizations and experts, those who are working in the area of social sustenance. And the competitions have had pure academic purpose, and lessons learned were shared amongst all stakeholders through publications of books and articles. We shared it, and public exhibitions, which we also had traveling exhibitions, which we took to different places, from IITs to NITs to NID. And when this was, a larger objective, but then within the charter, we also had universal design. So we did 3 NSDCs on universal design, keeping that to the central theme. And then we invited architects, planners, and design professionals to take part in those. And we did several activities when this was happening. It was like a festival which we did, and everybody was here for 5 days. And then we also had when there was like, it was like a you know, a brief which was floated to the students of all in the entire country. Those who were interested in the concept, they it was an optional thing even to our own students also. So everybody who liked the brief and liked the challenge, they gave the you know, their entries, and they first gave the consent and then they gave the entries. And our students also, they participated, and then whatever whosoever was shortlisted, we had always had a set of professionals, those who shortlisted those entries, and then we gave first, second, third prize, and then we had a public exhibitions of those entries. Plus, we did a hands-on, because we had some interested set of people, those who came because they were interested in universal design concept, they attempted a design exercise, so they all came here. And then we did a hands-on with some more experts, those who came, and then they you know, with several examples, they further extended their understanding about universal design. And this we called a hands-on workshop. So this happened for 5 days. And this also, you know, helped us to explore universal design concept in Indian context, because we, as I said, the definition of universal design came from a Western model. We had those guidelines which were, you know, based on Western models. So, but then in India, you need, you know, your own tools, your own examples, and your own contextual understanding about universal design and accessibility that we could do with such exercises. So this was the competition. This was one of the exploration that we did at Sanchi. This was the competition judgment and simulation and hands-on. You can see some photographs here. This was the public exhibition which we did, brainstorming which happened during a hands-on workshop. You can see some of the examples which you know, we also had user experts. So people with disabilities now globally are called user experts. So we engaged user experts. We engaged, you know, you are now, there's a tagline which people with disabilities say, nothing for us without us. So when you are doing something for them, then you are saying that this is good for you. So you are like, you are dictating them to use a design in a specific way, which you have designed, which you thought is right for them. But then it is like, when you are including them, you get to understand, you get many more novel ideas. So it's like a co-design, a collaborative design, you know, where you are involving user at different levels. So this was the competition. This is an exhibition where we also had people from different disciplines coming in. Please let me know, Prashanti, when I'm done with my, you know, time.
Yes, ma'am. At present, you have 10 more minutes, ma'am.
Okay, all right. So these are some of the, you know, so we did several NSDCs and we reached out to several students. You can see thousands of students when we did this. So and then this was further extended. We did several other workshops, you know, for Ministry of Social Justice, at NID, at IIT, as I was mentioning. It went on and on. We still do these exercises as part of our outreach. So there are several lessons which we learned from NSDC, National Student Design Comps, that when there's a challenge which is being given to them as for that matter, any concept, including universal design concept, then they take it as a challenge and as an opportunity for innovation. And with NSDCs, this concept could reach across the nation, and where people participated. This was not part of any academic credit, but then it became very popular when it was being you know, taught with other concepts like sustainability, heritage, and cultural this thing. We also presented it like in a creative way, not like a negative way, but it brought a lot of positive energy, a lot of innovation, and a lot of understanding to our own understanding of universal design. So they took it, universal design, as one of the good values for sustainability, and then explored with their fresh minds. So I will come to the second example. I'll keep the questions in the end. Integral Studio. Integral Studio was another, thing in SPA Bhopal where we had an event of 1 week, which was 1 week long, and we had different disciplines coming and different semesters coming together to participate in an exercise. So we did one Integral Studio, and then we did several other studios which had other themes. But then Universal Design became part of their design thinking and planning process, and then everything that they did was becoming inclusive. So here we took an example of Kumbh Mela, where we said that in case we are, we had in Integral Studios, we had about 350, 400, 450 students, those who were part of these Integral Studios, all vertical semesters and all horizontal disciplines. So we took, Kumbh as one of the examples, and then we started exploring all the environmental challenges, all contextual and, inclusive solutions for most visited areas, and then different prototypes, which shelters, which, people design for pilgrims. Here, again, it was a big challenge to design for such diverse contexts. So this was Kumbh was happening, Ujjain is a place where Kumbh happens. At that time, Kumbh was scheduled in Ujjain, and we took opportunity of that. And, when you say Kumbh, it is not just the ghat, it is also the practice, the cultural, context where you have the snan, where you have such diverse people and such crowd, where you have several other challenges together with Universal Design. But still everybody sees people with disabilities, those who are coming despite their disabilities for ages together, for years together, and they come and with the help of assistance. So how do you really see this entire concept? Do you really see it as accessible guidelines, or you need to make your own, set of innovations to help, people get included in such kind of things? So we gave a brief. We said, this is the site. You are supposed to design temporary infrastructure for people with disabilities. It's like a regular brief to everyone, where they were supposed to make prototype shelters. I'm doing it quickly. So we took all the students to Ujjain. We had, number was a big challenge for us. So first how to reach out to such large number of people and large number of students. But then initially we trained smaller group, and then we reached out to the larger group through them, and to help them internalize the concept. So when you are teaching it through the students, you have some certain mentors, and then those mentors are reaching out to the larger group to help. So again, we had, people, those who went, those who saw, they explored, they spoke with the people, they spoke to all different kinds of vulnerable groups, those who never had a voice in design and planning process. So we said that all of them should be included. We had theologians, pujaris, environmentalists, police officials, those who came, and they talked about, Kumbh, that how do they really manage such number of people, and how we also had people with disabilities, as I said, user experts, those who came as part of the studio, and then the students attempted design exercise. I'm going to share some examples so you can see the exhibitions which were being shared, and then and we did it like a public exhibitions. And then we realized that when we are doing Integral Studio, and then we are exploring universal design concept with, different disciplines together, we are thinking about the problem and not about the disciplines. We are not thinking about the silos, but open-minded, open-hearted solution to the problem. Their designs were cultural, because we were talking about, a culture which was so Indian in its context. And then we also talked about these were all modern students. They made futuristic designs and environmental friendly designs. And inputs from humanities and liberal arts resulted in enriched design thinking. So this brought a new insight, and then we could do innovative contextual solutions. So I will go to the third one, regular semester studio. So after doing this, we still we were exploring that can we really do it as part of our regular design studio. Then came Berkeley Prize to SP Bhopal. There was a teaching fellowship which was being launched, and then we could do it as part of our regular design exercise. This was a global studio where we had parallel studios happening in the entire globe, and everybody was working on universal design concept. So idea was again to identify the environmental challenges in Indian context, identify the opportunities for universal design, and create universal enabling designs. So we did some regular exercises in DR studio. They did, again, we took Ujjain because Ujjain is near. And then when we were talking about universal design, our definition was based on diversity. So the places which are more diverse are, have the more opportunity to become inclusive. So that is how we started doing it. So again, we had, we had several questions in our mind that, well, can it be really taken as part of our BH program as full semester course? But then gradually we could do it like a full semester course. And then we also thought how we are going to examine universal design in the whole process, that, and would it be, and how it would be taken by our co-faculty members and our students and education managers, that, as a concept which is like a separate sheet of accessibility and universal design. And in case it is part of the universal design, then how will we measure it and how it will appear? It will be seen in national map of architecture education. We also thought that how it will look like in India, and where, you have these people, those who are coming to Ujjain, they have big this thing of assistance, and we are talking about interdependence in Indian context. So how, how our examples are going to look like, and how we are going to teach it in the regular studio. So then we thought that, okay, let's do it like a universal human-centric approach. So we had this studio. It was universal design for cultural interface, where one part was universal Ujjain and pilgrimage, and another was universal design context, then knowing more people, diverse user in Indian context, and then apply universal human-centered approach. So that is what we said. And then we said, okay, you identify different kinds of users, all different users by purpose, age, ability, religion. So there may be some whom we know because we are talking about people with disabilities, but then you also have, people, those who are not so educated, people, those who are coming from rural background, those who are from different class, those who have linguistic disabilities. There are different kinds. So try and know as much as you can. And then we told them how in the design process, how these users are going to fit into your different design stages, and user as a subject, user as a partner, user, those who are giving you feedback. And then we call this user-centered approach in design. We also taught different kinds of research methods to study user as a subject, user as a partner. And then we told them how to summarize this entire thing. And then we started with simulation games. We told them about, environment behavior studies, research methods, how do you summarize it, how you put it together. And it is qualitative data in such contexts are really overwhelming. So we told them how to, connect it with the design and the students, and then how to organize this entire information and bring it to design specifications, which informs design, so that you are able to do it at the end of the day, and you are able to convince others that yes, you have done it in a specific way. So there are design specifications which are informing design. So after doing all your interviews, observations, that you are doing it in an organized way, you are bringing your qualitative data to design. So these are some of the methods, procedures that we did, and we brought the inferences and design specifications in the end. These are the procedures. So we thought that yes, these are some of the methods, some of the tools that you can do in Indian context and can become part. We also trained them in ethical considerations, and then we had several people again going to Ujjain. Ujjain context is really very chaotic, but then it was a challenge. Initially, we all were disheartened. What we have taken, will it be possible for us to do it? But then it was part of Berkeley studio, so we had to do it. So, and then we gradually, you can see all these things were finally, coming down to design specifications. All these interviews, people had their own ways to do user studies. And then finally, we could do this entire journey. Initially, we did not know where to start with, but then everybody was getting attracted towards those well-compiled codes. But gradually, we realized that yes, by the strength of user-centric design, by strength of our research methods, by having pre-designed user data connected with design solutions, are making a lot of innovations and are bringing are enhancing our students about inclusivity and inclusion. And now people made a lot of out-of-box solutions. They showed a lot of empathy, maturity. They went out of their work area. They even made designs which were more than what they thought are included in or are needed for the evaluation. So this is how we did, and we had a best size studio in the entire semester. Now we do almost every time. We do it in urban design, we do it as part of conservation, we do it as part of planning, we do it as electives for undergrad, postgrad, from different kinds of cognitive disabilities to all different kinds of buildings like Paralympic stadiums and different kinds. And now we are able to do it without any problem as part of our regular architecture education, and it fits so well in the entire curriculum. That was a learning for us. So, and how we evaluated. I finish with my evaluation. I'll not go to the examples because we don't have time. So how do we evaluate it? In short-term courses, in long-term courses, or in Integral Studio? We always had, to make it part of our regular semester studio, we said that, yes, we are going to have two criteria to judge you. One is inclusive design criteria, and another is physical design criteria. Physical design criteria was given, your response to the given studio brief and its context, which we do anyways. Research into the needs of the people and community to understand the key challenges. So we diverted them from standards to the people where they are able to, and we gave them methods. We empowered them with research to do this. And then we said that how original and creative you were to this brief and created innovative solutions. And the fourth criteria was that it communicates the key idea of universal usability, retaining the authenticity and integrity of the site in function, spirit, and aesthetics. Whereas universal design criteria was, adopted from universal design principles and universal design India principles, that how equitable, usable, cultural, economic, aesthetic, flexible, simple, intuitive, perceptible, error tolerance, and low physical. So all these principles were translated into some of the evaluation criteria, these 11 criteria, and every time we judged using these 11 criteria. So whether it was short term or long term, we could do it with the help of these evaluation criteria, and we have come a long way, right from those products to those environments to buildings to interiors to design. We also have developed some projects which we are doing, multidisciplinary projects. And I would suggest all of you, in case you consider ways to improve your curriculum, consider including universal design. It is quite rewarding. So thank you so much. I think I'm on time, Prashanti.
Yeah, you are in time, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you so much.
I have given all these examples in my handout. So in case somebody is interested, they can see some of these examples, which we have done at urban scale, we have done it at city scale, and we, using GIS, and we have done it at product, in small products also, in different ways.
Thank you.
So any questions, anything?
Yeah, questions are like invited. Hello. It's Prashant, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Do you feel one sort of disability might conflict the disability of other kind? For example,
Yes.
if I'm trying to see tactile marking along
Yes.
the streets, when the streets are already too narrow, it becomes a problem for other kind of people who have locomotor disabilities and all.
Okay. Yeah, there are, many such instances where you have conflicting issues, right? But when, first the step is to do the baseline design. So in case you are talking about the narrow streets, then you have certain standards, you have certain, numbers of the traffic and the people whom you are supposed to serve. Then you also have the issues. In case you are talking about the people, you'll realize that you have hawkers, you have people, those who have encroached upon these streets. So all these issues. And then you also have different other users. So when you are making first layer of baseline issues, then another layer of issues which are conflicting the baseline issues. Then some of the people, those who have a requirement which are, which are to be met, to be make it inclusive. And then think about and then step by step include everyone. So to this, I would say that who says that you have to have those yellow tiles? Who says that you have to have, a certain width of those yellow tiles? Why it is meant for? How people, those who have vision impairment, use these tactile tiles? Is there any other way that we can do it in subtle way or in a narrow way? So first, for that, you need to understand people with vision impairment first, and their way of dealing with and connecting with the tactile tiles, and then you do the interventions. So in case you have the narrow street, there are several. You can use edges, you can use walls, you can have small little bands which people can refer to, because there are certain projections which people refer to. There can be several borders which people can connect. And since the guidelines are being done in a specific way, we do it. Even the guidelines say that you have to have certain 3 mm rise from the base level, and also a contrast. Who says that it has to be yellow, only yellow? There may be some standards which says yellow, but then you have enough, in case you have a contrast, then you can think about the contrast. But first is to know people with vision impairment, how they interact with the environment. And then you will have a better, so that is why we say, go to the user, go to the people. You don't design for them without including.
Because I personally have locomotor disabilities.
Okay.
And I personally feel that that affects my mobility to a lot extent and enhances the situation and tendencies to trip down from that rise.
But in case designers will understand and see all these problems together, in case you are not providing enough space for hawkers, there's no point providing tactile tiles and ramps, because you'll never have space for people to be able to use independently.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Anyone? I think, ma'am, your presentation itself is so self-explanatory. And I would like to share one thing from all the participants over here. What clicked me to organize this also is like the person who is sitting in front of me. She only inspired me for working on this subject. And I started little bit to understand this area. So this was like my first initiative to conduct this FDP, to understand the facts. And I really thank you, ma'am, for in such a small this thing, you accepted our invitation and you have deliberated in detail. I hope most of the questions which has been imposed in the first session has been totally answered now. So I think participants are also okay. Any other question? If anyone wants to add,
please feel free to connect with me. I have my mail ID in my handout. So please, whenever you feel, and we feel like Prashanti is saying that she was being touched by. So any of the people, those who were touched by any of these exercises, became like ambassadors of universal design for us. They have spread, and we expect that after all of us, like after this session, you all will also become ambassadors of universal design. Something which is, part of, it should be part of good values of design. In case we are talking about environment, you can't make a good design without being environmental friendly. So same is with social sustenance. You can't make a, so how do you see good is important. So I expect that all of us will become, continue to work in this field like ambassadors.
Thank you, ma'am.
So thank you so much for having me, Prashanti.
It's wonderful to have you, ma'am, here. And any questions? I'm just asking because we are not going to get experts like this. So you can just.
Ma'am, can I please request you to post ma'am's contact in form of mail ID or something in the chat box so that we can take it from there?
Tomorrow, today in our WhatsApp group, I will post all the details. Okay, Deepti ma'am?
Thank you so much, ma'am.
All right. Okay.
Ma'am, this is Deepika Gandhi from Chandigarh, and this is not a question, but more of an observation that,
Yes,
as you said, we all have to become ambassadors for disability and for universal access. And I had a very pleasant experience that my son, who just got into Ashoka University, and he being a humanities student, and in Ashoka University, they made them do a paper on universal access. And since then, he has become so sensitive that wherever we go, he automatically starts noticing, oh, this is not good, this is bad. And I think it should start before, I mean, it should not be all about architecture students. It should be about, maybe it should start at the school level. So maybe we as colleges should start preparing booklets to sensitize school children, because they could also become the ones who make policy decisions later on. Maybe not architects as such. They're the ones who could become IS officers or be in positions where they could actually affect decisions. So I just realized maybe we have to start earlier because people do understand this thing.
Yes, absolutely. Very good, idea. We all should do this, to reach out to our students, our, school students to help them understand the concept. Because even in Ashoka or in this entire movement of having students with disabilities in higher education came from a set of people with vision impairments in JNU. Even in Ashoka, as part of our studio, while there was one student, now you say that yes, they are doing some exercise, but I have seen myself a student who was completely blind. He was doing his master's from graduation from Ashoka University, double major in mathematics and computer science. And he was so amazing. We called him as part of our studio. So he came and he stayed with our students, all independently he came. So imagine one person with disabilities has spread so much of awareness about disability. But unless and until, you have this in school education, in case you'll have more students in education, school education, so imagine how inclusive our new generation would be. So these students, the student who came, he came, as I was saying, that initially everybody was like, how he is doing maths. He's completely blind, but then he had so many gadgets. And everybody thought that probably people with vision impairment, they read Braille, but younger generation doesn't read Braille. They have so much of technology. They have so much of voice to text and text to voice commands, which help them so much. And he could type almost everything which was being said, and he became so popular in the process. I remember there was one girl who was asking him, बता मैं कितनी लंबी हूँ मेरी आवाज सुन के. He became so much included in the studio, and it was such an enrichment. So thanks for sharing your experience also. I thought just I'll share one, because with Ashoka University example, I remembered the student whom we met and he became part of our studio.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you. So should I stop sharing? Any other experience or anything that you would anyone else would like to share? So Prashanti, should I end my session then? Hello? Hello?
Hello. 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 Am I audible to all?
Yes, ma'am.
Rachna ma'am left, yeah?
Yes, she has left.
Okay. Sorry, there is some error over here. Thank you all the. Please wait. I have some something to tell. I want to tell about the tomorrow's speakers also. Tomorrow we are going to have a session on the day 2. We have a speaker, Dr. Kavita Murukar ma'am, and she is going to speak about the Universal Accessibility Guidelines for Built Environment. And she is an architect, educator, and universal design evangelist with over 20 years of experience in education and practice. And she is at present principal at Bharati Vidyapeeth College. And she is definitely going to disseminate a very wonderful session for us. And the second session will be taken up by Shri Iqbal Lone, sir. He is from Jammu and Kashmir. And he is going to speak about the state laws for person with disability case of Jammu and Kashmir. And he was a commissioner for PWD and he's representing PWD department over there. So I think it will be great for us to listen to them tomorrow also. And hope both this session might be informative to all the participants over here. Hello, I would like to hear from all the participants. Hello.
Yes,
We can hear you, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah. Because the 2-3 for attendance also, because you know, many people have joined now. So shall I just for the sake, shall I call the names?
Yes, sure.
Yeah. Aditi. No issue, Rashmi ma'am. You can just put a message. Aditi ma'am is there. Amod Kumar Karmaksh.
Yes, ma'am, I'm here.
Yeah. Just for today. Later on, I will understand. Amit Kumar Das.
Yes, ma'am.
And Anjali, I think Anjali. Anjan. I don't know, name is like Anjan Kawatra. Anjali Kawatra, I think. Yeah, okay. Ankita Nikam. Ankita Nikam is there?
Yes.
Bajendra Kumar.
Yes, ma'am.
Deepika Gandhi.
Yeah, that's me.
Deepti R.
Here, ma'am.
Yeah. Gaurav Dilip sir.
Hello, ma'am. I'm there.
Gaurav Gangwar.
Yes, madam.
Harshita D.
Yes, ma'am, I'm here.
Kamal Preet. Manisha Rajule.
Yeah, I'm there, ma'am.
Actually, again and again, I was unable to take you, ma'am, because today one of my coordinator is having some issues at issues, so he is unable to join. That's why I'm unable to take you in again. Okay, Milind Bidave sir.
Yes,
Acha, Vitali Vavre.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, Namita. I think Dharma Bigai.
Yes, ma'am. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Pallavi Banerjee. I think Prashant Rehal.
Yes, ma'am.
R. Niveda. Okay. R. Niveda. Raghavendra. Rashmi Abhyankar.
Yes, I'm there.
Reshmi Naveen, yeah, she already told she's there. Okay, Namita ma'am. Aditya? Okay, okay. No issue, ma'am. Shanghi Nair?
Yes, ma'am, here, Shaki.
Yeah. Shreya Kanade? Sneha Thomas?
Yes, that's me.
Yeah, yeah. Soumya V? Tasneem Shikari? And Aniruddha sir, I think.
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah, I know. Anyone who joined later, in a list, their name is not there, so updated list will come to me anyways. If anybody's name I have not taken, kindly let me know.
Ma'am, Divya.
Divya. Your name is not there, ma'am, but I will check. Huh? Oh, okay. Thank you.
Ma'am, it's
Kamalpreet, ma'am, I have already took your attendance. You were there just. What is the timing for tomorrow? Tomorrow timing is.
Hello, ma'am.
Can you text me if it is your
Hello.
mic is not working? Can you text me? Hello.
Hello, ma'am. My name is in list, Milind.
Milind.
Hello, ma'am. I'm
Yeah,
audible.
yeah, you are audible. Milind,
Yeah.
I took your name.
I'm in list. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, sir.
Yeah. Okay, ma'am. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. This is for today only. I have taken this kind of attendance like a school teacher, but it is not for tomorrow. I will just check this thing only because people are leaving again and again, so I'm unable to see who are there. Now for tomorrow, you need to join by 12:45. Session will start by 1 p.m. And see, new links will be sent to you for the day 2. This link will not work. Another link will be sent to you. And whatever today's presentation happened, that presentations shall be shared with you. And even the contact numbers and email IDs of both the experts shall be shared with you. I would like to hear from you guys how it went for the first day. Hello.
It was good. Like I attended for the first time, but in a nutshell, it was fine.
Shall I able to know all the participants, like they are faculty, research scholars, or somebody want to say something?
Yeah, myself, architect Aniruddha Sharma. I'm an assistant professor in Government College of School of Architecture, Jammu, from Jammu and Kashmir. I'm a practicing architect as well. I'm practicing here for more than 10 years now. Thank you.
Thank you. Our participant is also from Jammu and Kashmir, and tomorrow's session is also going to be taken by Iqbal Lonsar. I hope you will be able to connect with him. And any other person or any other?
Sure. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Amrit sir. Anyone want to introduce yourself?
Ma'am, I'm Deepthi R, architect. I'm currently a faculty at K School of Architecture, Bangalore.
Welcome, ma'am.
Hello, I'm Prashant Trihal, and I'm a PhD research scholar in IIT Roorkee, and I'm presently researching on disability and elderly friendly neighborhoods.
Great, sir. And we tried to call Gaurav Raheja sir also for this event, but due to some engagements, he is unable to join. So, great. You're from Roorkee.
Yes.
Anyone else? Because why I want to know like that kind of inputs are coming or not, that I only want to know. That's why I'm asking. Because we only got the list of the names. We don't know the background. So just to know.
Yes, hi ma'am, this is Shaki.
Yeah.
I'm from School of Interior Design and Interior Design Architect, from Manipal campus.
Okay.
But we are in the Dubai campus. I think myself, Sneha ma'am and Tasneem ma'am is here, so we 3 faculties are here.
Okay.
So it's a good way, because in Dubai, everything is based on this universal design. So the context of Indian examples and this thing would like to know. So I think it will be like a good way to part of this FDP.
Yeah, true. And we also felt the same. Like one question has been posed by in the earlier presentation that whether it has been included in the syllabus or not. But clear-cut inclusion is not there, but bits and parts is there. But ministry also want the architecture schools to include it full-fledgedly, so that it should be like it is design inclusive accessibility, and it should be designed for all, not for only one secluded this thing, but it is for everyone. Because we might be there can be a temporary disability also. We may not able to walk sometimes, and because of the disease or because of any kind of accident or something. But at that time also we are unable to use whatever basic infrastructure was there. So it is not only for those who are like temporarily or who are like permanently facing these issues, but it is for the normal course people also when they prone to these kind of situations. At that time also, this built and unbuilt environment should be so cohesive that it should be inclusive, and we all shall use it together, not for the separate differently abled or that kind of thing. So this intention made us to because we are also learning with you and with all the experts, and really I feel both the two sessions are very informative, because the first session was actually talking about the ergonomics and anthropometry more, where the different kind of things has been different spaces are being discussed in that. And whereas with respect to Rachna Khare ma'am's this thing, she talked more about the universal design, and she also talked about the myths about the universal design, and also what exactly people are doing in the name of universal design, whether it is only for the grant or something. But it is time now as an eye opener for all of us that we should work in this direction full-fledgedly, because we are all an architects over here. I think most of you are practicing, most of you are doing research, most of you are like indulged in other kind of activities also, but we need to be a brand ambassador for hello Pallavi. And I think we should definitely work upon it as an individual also. We can identify many other domains where we can work. We can take only one product also, we can take only one street also, we can take any one building entrance also, or anything. But we need to think very deeply about it, ki whether whatever we are designing today as an architect, what is our role and responsibility. Even if we are teaching our students, are we giving them a right direction, because they are going to be a brand ambassador from our institute to work in this field. So it is now a need of an hour, you can say. This topic is very important to discuss and to bring it in practice also. And we need to inculcate this into our budding architects who are going to be who are like our students at present. Most of us are, what I understood is like that most of us are faculty over here, and few are the research scholars, and we are looking forward towards the research scholars like Prashant sir, that definitely they are going to come up with a good ideas and guidelines and other things which can be inculcated for the for the near future. I hope all of you agree with this. Hello.
Yes.
Okay. Now, Navneet sir. Navneet sir is there or not? So we are going to share through mail also and through in our WhatsApp group also. In case of any kind of confusion or any kind of queries, you may just ask us in the WhatsApp group. We're definitely going to give you a give our inputs in that regard, and also provide those things which is not available to you in case suppose some mail IDs are wrong or something like that. So you can just convey us, because on 18th after the session only we are going to have a MCQs test for you, in which 60 questions are there and you have to answer in the 60 minutes. So 1 hour will be there. So that's why we are providing you all the all the handouts, whatever has been shared with us by an experts, and also some reading materials. Yeah, I think most of you have not having the this thing. 1 minute, we'll just see. Yeah. Hello Pallavi ma'am, hello Namita ma'am, Harshita ma'am, Kamalpreet. Yeah, thank you for introducing yourself. With this, I will close this session for today. If any queries, you can ask us. If any suggestions, you can tell us. Thank you all for joining.
Ma'am, can we exit the meeting now? Sorry, you're on mute. We are unable to hear you.
I'm just waiting.